Hey, everybody, and welcome back to Chat Like a Native, the podcast that helps you unlock fluency and sound more natural in English. And today we're diving deep into a topic that I know trips up a lot of learners.
Uh-huh.
English tenses.
Yeah.
Right, like how to use them, when do use them.
They can be a little scary.
They're intimidating.
They're intimidating. There's a lot to keep track of.
Yeah, but we're here to make it a little less scary today.
Exactly.
And we're going to explore a technique that'll make choosing the right tense feel almost like second nature.
Absolutely.
Like breathing.
Like a breathing, yeah.
It's all about focusing on time markers. Those little words and phrases that can really unlock fluent English.
Yes.
Almost like a secret code.
They really are.
Now, I'm curious from your perspective as an expert who works with English learners all the time, why do you think tenses are such a sticking point for people?
Well, I think a lot of it comes down to fear.
Yeah.
You know, you've got all these different tenses to remember, all these rules,
Right.
all these exceptions, and it's easy to get overwhelmed.
Yes.
And then you start to worry about making mistakes. You know, about sounding silly or being judged. And that fear can really hold people back from just letting go and practicing.
I see that all the time.
Yeah.
People are just so scared to make a mistake
Yeah.
that they almost don't speak at all.
Exactly. And that's the biggest mistake of all.
Yeah.
Because the key to fluency is to keep talking, keep practicing,
Definitely.
even if you make a few mistakes along the way.
And you will.
And you will.
We all do.
Oh, yeah.
Even native speakers make mistakes.
All the time.
Right. So it's not about being perfect. It's about communicating.
Exactly.
So I'm really interested in this idea of time markers. How can they help us kind of get past that fear?
Well, time markers are like little clues
Okay.
that tell us which tense to use. So instead of trying to remember all the grammar rules, you can just focus on these keywords and phrases. For example, if you say yesterday,
Okay.
you know you're probably going to use the past tense.
Yeah.
If you say right now,
Present continuous.
you're going to use the present continuous.
Right.
It's like those time markers prime your brain to use the right tense.
It's almost like automatic.
Yeah,
It's like your brain already knows.
it does.
Yeah.
It's just a matter of paying attention to those clues.
That's so fascinating because I think even as native speakers, we don't really think about this.
No,
We just kind of do it.
we do.
But it's helpful for learners to kind of break it down
It is.
and see those patterns.
Absolutely.
So for someone who's maybe listening to this and they're like, okay, this sounds good, but how do I actually start using this technique? What would you recommend?
I would say start by becoming a time marker detective.
Ooh, I like that.
Yeah, just pay attention to how native speakers use them.
Okay.
Listen to podcasts, watch movies.
Just out in the real world.
Out in the real world, exactly. And really trying to notice those patterns.
Like almost make a game out of it.
Exactly.
Okay.
It can be fun.
So once they've kind of started to notice those patterns, what's the next step?
Then it's time to start practicing.
Okay.
And one really fun way to do that is to use time marker prompts.
Okay. How does that work?
So you can take a time marker like yesterday and just start a sentence with that.
So like yesterday I went to the store.
Perfect. Or yesterday I ate pizza,
Ah.
whatever comes to mind. And you can do the same thing with other time markers.
Like right now.
Right now I'm talking to you.
Okay.
Next week I'm going to the beach.
Perfect.
Yay.
I love that. It's like a little mini challenge
It is.
to get your brain thinking in the right tense.
Exactly.
So we've been talking a lot about the benefits of time markers. But are there any potential downsides?
Well, it's important to remember that time markers aren't always foolproof.
Okay.
Sometimes the context can override the time marker.
Can you give me an example of that?
Sure. Let's say you're talking about a plan you have for tomorrow.
Okay.
You might say, I'm leaving tomorrow, right? Even though tomorrow typically signals future tense,
Wow.
you're using the present continuous there
Yeah.
to express that planned future action.
Because it's something that's already set.
Exactly.
It's going to happen. So
Yeah.
I guess it's all about kind of combining that awareness of time markers
Mm,
with a good understanding of the context.
absolutely.
And I think the more you practice,
Mhm.
the better you get at that.
Definitely.
You start to develop that
It
instinct.
becomes more natural.
Yeah. Any other advice for our listeners who are trying to master English tenses?
Don't be afraid to make mistakes.
Yeah,
It's all part of the learning process.
we've said that,
We have.
but it's so important.
It is. You know, fluency is not about perfection.
Right.
It's about being able to communicate.
Mhm.
So just relax. Have fun with it.
Keep chatting.
Keep chatting.
Yeah,
And those tenses will start to feel more and more natural over time.
awesome. So to wrap things up, what's one key takeaway you'd like to leave our listeners with today?
Time markers are your friends.
Love that.
They really are.
Time markers are your friends.
Embrace them, notice them, use them, and I guarantee you'll see a difference in your fluency.
Fantastic. Thank you so much for diving deep with us today.
It's been a pleasure.
And to everyone listening, keep those ears open for those time markers. Don't be afraid to experiment. Have fun with them. And until next time, keep chatting and keep learning.